The world is predictable. You blend in with everyone and everything, but then there is that person, that unique individual who stands out no matter how big the crowd is. They take you out of your mundane thought patterns, and something about them evokes and stirs all kinds of emotions in you. Admiration, envy, anger, frustration, bitterness, contempt, whatever it is, it makes you think about them. What if you could be that person? The color, the sunshine, the walking spectacle in people's mundane lives. Laws of power. Law 6. Court attention at all costs. Everything is judged by its appearance. What is unseen counts for nothing. Never let yourself get lost in the crowd then, or buried in oblivion. Stand out. Be conspicuous at all costs. Make yourself a magnet of attention by appearing larger, more colorful, more mysterious than the bland and timid masses. A name without fame is like fire without flame. Thomas Edison, the great scientist, knew that in order to raise money, he had to remain in the public eye at any cost. Almost as important as the inventions themselves was how he presented them to the public and courted attention. Edison would design visually dazzling experiments to display his discoveries with electricity. He would talk of future inventions that seemed fantastic at the time, robots and machines that could photograph thought, and this made the public talk about him. In actuality, he had no intention of wasting his energy on these matters. He did everything that he could to make sure he received more attention than his great rival Nikola Tesla, who may actually have been more brilliant than he was, but whose name was far less known. In 1915, it was rumored that Edison and Tesla would be joint recipients of that year's Nobel Prize in Physics. However, they did not get the Nobel Prize. But why? Why didn't these two great men of history not get the Nobel Prize of that year? After the prize was given to a pair of English physicists, it was discovered that the prize committee had actually approached Edison. Edison had turned them down, refusing to share the prize with Nikola Tesla. And here's the reason why. By that time, Edison's fame was more secure than Tesla's, and he thought it would be better to refuse the honor than to allow the rival the attention that would have even come from sharing the prize. Keys to power. Burning more brightly than those around you is a skill that no one is born with. You have to learn to attract attention. But how do you do this? Robert Greene recommends that at the start of your career, you must attach your name and reputation to a quality and image that sets you apart from other people. This image can be something like a characteristic style of dress, or a personality quirk that amuses people and gets talked about. Once the image is established, you have an appearance, a place in the sky for your star. The question is, what makes this work? The answer is society craves larger-than-life figures, people who stand above the general mediocrity. Never be afraid then of the qualities that set you apart and draw attention to you. He writes, court controversy, even scandal. It is better to be attacked, even slandered, than ignored. All professions are ruled by this law, and all professionals must have a bit of the showman about them. Think about the lawsuits of the two giant smartphone companies. What greater strategy to use to get more and more publicity in the media and have everyone talk about you than to sue each other. Win one lawsuit, receive a hefty sum, then lose another lawsuit and pay back a hefty sum. Keep doing this back and forth and create a huge spectacle and get talked about by everyone. Disclaimer, in no way am I claiming this is truly what happened or that I'm an expert saying that is what they deliberately aimed at. But it is an observation that can be made, and at the very least a strategy that can be derived from similar spectacles. Here, I'll show you the same tactic being recommended in suits. Harvey's client has been sued for copying another company's vodka recipe or process, and this is his advice.
Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna go into business with the guys whose process you stole. You're gonna quietly give them 10% of your company. You're gonna triple your price, and you're gonna have a very public feud over whose vodka tastes better.
And then we both profit from a war between two brands that have the exact same product.
Win-win.
Robert Greene writes, if you find yourself in a lowly position that offers little opportunity for you to draw attention, an effective trick is to attack the most visible, most famous, most powerful person you can find. A great example of this is shown in Suits. Harvey Specter has brought his girlfriend into the firm, and this is the day she officially starts as a senior partner within the firm. Observance in Suits.
I'd like to take lead on this one.
It's yours.
Did I miss anything?
Not really. Scotty's going to be handling the Franklin acquisition.
Franklin's my client. I was 5 minutes late.
10 minutes, actually.
Scotty's a senior partner, Louis.
Oh, this is bullshit.
Then I guess you're saying the bylaws are bullshit.
My bylaws are a work of art.
And the bylaws clearly state that if a senior partner is more than 10 minutes late to a meeting, he or she has no standing. This rule shall not be abridged by any circumstance, for without punctuality, we are animals, right?
This isn't over.
Yes, it is.
You should be focused on Louis Litt. After what you did at that meeting, he's gonna come at you full bore.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
You picked a fight with him on purpose.
Of course I did.
You don't want to be seen as my girlfriend, so you picked a fight with the biggest, baddest prisoner in the yard.
I win this. I'm the partner that beat Louis Litt, not the partner sleeping with Harvey Specter.
Louis just did me a huge favor, and I don't want to get caught in the middle of it.
I don't need you in the middle of it.
You telling me you're waving the white flag?
No, I am waving this. Louis Litt, you are hereby notified that your services are no longer needed on Franklin Courier, and if you go around me, I will invoke 139J on your ass.
I'm sure you heard about Dana Scott's throttling of me.
I haven't. You both wanted me to stay out of it, and I did.
Scotty underlined 6 different traps. She deliberately picked a fight to embarrass me, and I want to know if you knew.
She wanted to beat the meanest, toughest guy at the firm.
Okay?
It's a sign of respect.
Let's cut the scene off here, since the rest doesn't provide much value for this law. However, I do want to point out this behavior of Harvey, because it's a cluster you will easily spot in your own life. Try to observe it. 3 things to be spotted. Here, I'll play it again. Figure leaf position, lip compression, jaw clench. He portrayed his behavior most likely because he is annoyed and angry that he got caught up between this battle of Scotty and Louis. If you want to know what each of them mean exactly and why we portray them, check out the full-on body language video breakdowns I did of this scene with Harvey Specter and also one of Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders. Now Harvey is a high-status type A personality who rarely portrays defensive blocking behavior like this, hence it was worth noting. Also, a body language breakdown of Harvey Specter is coming up. Let's continue with our video. As Scotty knew, once people's eyes are focused on you, then you have a special legitimacy. But she didn't want to be known as Harvey's girlfriend, but as the person who beat another giant within the firm. And she did this by deliberately picking a fight with him. Remember, however, to use such tactics sparingly after you have the public's attention when the act can wear thin. Friends, real quick, I want to thank every single one of you for all the comments, likes and subscribes that you put on the channel. I'm gonna do my best to keep providing more value to you. Robert writes, the worst fate in the world for a man who yearns fame, glory and of course power is to be ignored. At the beginning of your rise to the top, spend all your energy on attracting attention. Most important, the quality of attention is irrelevant. Guys, this directly contradicts Law 5. Guard your reputation at all costs. In my humble opinion, in almost all cases, it is far better to have the right kind of attention that builds your reputation than quick, immediate, quote-unquote shitty attention that diminishes your reputation and therefore your options in the long run. My advice is this: build a stellar track record, keep quiet, and then bang, let your reputation do the talking and let it captivate people's attention because of who you are, instead of associating your name with the scandalous and/or shady people. Understand, people feel superior to the person whose actions they can predict. By playing against their expectations, you both gain their respect and tighten your hold on their fleeting attention. Oscar Wilde said, "The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about." Friends, there is a very dark reversal of this law. There are times when the need for attention must be deferred, and when scandal and notoriety are the last things you want to create, otherwise you will seem desperate and needy. We'll go over the reversal of the law in part 2 alongside all kinds of mystery. Be sure to check that out, because if you don't, you may commit those sins that you do not want to commit. Friends, like the phoenix, may you have a controlled ego death and arise from the ashes as the person you wish to become.